Hello, hello, and welcome to a new episode of I Like Art podcast. My name is Sara Glupker, and I'm really excited to share this special interview with you today. I am interviewing, she's a wonderful artist. Let me read about her before I get started. Once you hear this bio, though, I really encourage my listeners to hit the pause button and go ahead and check out her Instagram page, check out maybe her website to get your eyeballs on her art and see what she's all about. I really think that helps get a little bit more of out of the episode. So go ahead and do that. Come back. And in the meantime, let me tell you all about her. She goes by the business Pazful Designs, and it was started by herself and approved by her rescue dogs, Bubba and Luna, when she realized she wanted to turn her love of pottery into a profession. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in both business administration and studio art from the University of Vermont. While in art school, she concentrated in creating 3D art. It wasn't until a few years out of school that she decided to get back into the pottery studio. Pazful Designs exists in Denver, Colorado, and remains committed to creating art for all people to enjoy, giving back to those in need, both people and animals, and working towards a more sustainable, eco-friendly environment. Currently, she's a studio tech at Hammerly Ceramics in Westminster, Colorado. She bartends on the side while pursuing her dream of being a full-time self-employed artist. And I'm so excited to introduce you to M. Stevens of Pazful Designs. Welcome to I Like Art podcast. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. I can't wait to talk about all the reasons why I like art.
Yes. I think that my listeners are going to love to talk to you today because I was so excited to hear you recently speak on art and cocktails with Kat Popova from Create
Yes,
Magazine and the Art Queens. And you were talking about your current project, creating a personal studio for
yes,
yourself.
yes.
And I was so excited, partly because I just hit the anniversary of my studio being built, and I had a grand opening 4 years ago this month. And just
Congrats.
thank you. It goes by so quick. I tell you what, you're going to be in my seat in no time. You're going to be so surprised. But it was just such a cool moment hearing you talk about the project. And it did bring me back to the struggles and just kind of what it was like building your own studio with your, funding. And you just started a Kickstarter campaign to fund your studio, which I thought, goodness, I can't even believe I didn't think about that. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah,
But what a great way to get community surrounding your project to give back to people who are helping support your project and giving them art and
yeah.
just the journey. So before we start talking about that, I'm so happy you're here. Do you want to start with your story as far back as you like? When did you start making art? Were you a kid? How did that look for you? And thank you and welcome to the show.
Of course. No, like I said, thank you for having me. Um, yeah, I think that I am very fortunate in that if I wasn't making art, I don't know what else I would be doing. Like this, I feel it in my bones that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, so in that regard, as long as I can remember, like elementary school, just like art was my favorite. You know, being creative and having that outlet has
Mm-hmm.
always been my favorite. Um, and I mean, I remember, I don't know if you ever played the board game Life. Do you remember that
Yes.
game? Okay.
Yes.
I cannot for the life of me like fully remember the premise or like how you won that game. Sorry, my dog is he's
Oh, I can't.
really he's
We can't even
demanding
hear.
pets right now. Okay. So playing that board game, one of the occupations was artist.
Oh yeah, I totally remember.
Yeah.
And
And
the
so
little
like I
car with
would
the pegs.
always
Yeah.
yes, so I would always try to be the artist and I would
Mm-hmm.
always try to have like the highest income
Mm-hmm.
and like the most amount of kids. Like I was just like the most, like always, which I
Mm-hmm.
feel is still pretty accurate for who I am as a person today.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like, it just wasn't talked about, I feel like, or it wasn't encouraged to be a full-time artist when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And I never
Same.
really had interest, like, I never had interest in wanting to go into the education system and being an art teacher. I definitely thought about it. There was a time where I almost went back to school to do it, but it wasn't because I wanted to, but it was because I felt like that's what I should do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so in that regard, yeah, I've wanted to be an artist. I felt it in my bones. I've wanted to be creative truly since I was a small kid. So I'm very fortunate that I get to wake up and do what I've wanted to do my whole life, you know?
Yes. Oh, I love that. Sounds so familiar to me too, is to to pursue the arts and to feel. I love how you think about this when you were a kid playing that game. I remember the
Yeah.
artist card and also being like, oh, I got artists. I don't know if the salary, I think there were separate salary cards, but
Yes.
yeah, it's
Yes.
like, why not do this and make this great income? And I think it's
Right.
such a fantastic time to be an artist because it's even more possible than ever, in my opinion.
Right.
And that's just it's just cool to see that you're still thinking about that child that wanted to and there's nothing wrong with wanting this and this and this, you
Right.
know. So
Well, and there's always like for me, it's just like, hindsight's always 2020, but there are such pivotal moments um in my life that I can look back at and be like, nobody, no adult in my life should be surprised that I'm an artist. Like,
mm,
when I look back at some specific moments, I'm like, oh my gosh, it was so obvious. It was
mm-hmm,
so clear that this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be interesting to talk to some of those adults, you know?
I know. I should really just ask my parents, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, because I can't recall, like there was a time where I thought I would be an art dealer. But again, like
Mm,
all of these other occupations that were in the art field were always like a title that I would throw out or an occupation that I would throw out because I felt like um being a full-time artist was unrealistic. And it's not that it's unrealistic, it's just it takes work like
mm-hmm,
anything else in life. It takes a lot of work.
mm-hmm,
Um and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think working hard for your dream is a bad thing, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, and figuring out how to do it because there's so many
Yes,
different ways that we can do it, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always, on my own personal Instagram page, I always like to tell people like this is my journey. This is what is working for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um but it might not work for you. And
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. You're going to have your own journey and it's going to look different and it's still going to be great. And as long as that's what works for you, do it. Don't feel like, "Oh, well, I didn't get a job working for another artist or I didn't work at a community center," whatever it may be. Um your journey doesn't have to look like my own personal art journey.
100%. And everybody's art is so different and it translates into different you can make money with your creativity in different ways because our work is so
Yes.
different. So, me being a painter, even another painter, we may not have the same collectors or we may not
Right.
have the same. It may take me 10 hours to make a painting. It might take the other person 50 hours to make a painting. So
Sure.
there's so many different factors and variables. And I could
Yeah.
talk about this topic all day. So, I might have to have you come back. But
Yes.
we're going to keep going as far as now that we now that we know that your childhood did have a lot of art in it, can you
Yes.
describe your art today? Medium, theme, physical description. Most of my people tuning into this podcast will be listening. I do have a YouTube channel, so you may check that out. But describe your work for us.
I make functional ceramics. And I say functional because They, for the most part, I make a handmade coffee mug or vases or planters. So it is art that you can look at, but most importantly, like I want you to use it. I want my coffee mug to be the coffee mug that you go for every morning. You know, if you're
Mm-hmm.
having a bad day, I want the mug to be like, oh yes, this is going to comfort me, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I do love, I've always been drawn to pop art. I was fortunate enough to go to a super small high school. But Keith Haring also went to my high school.
No way.
Yes, yes,
Really? That's
yeah.
so
And
cool.
I think that's another thing. Like I grew up with almost like the folklore of Keith Haring as a student. Like I had teachers who had taught Keith.
No way.
Um, yes,
That's super cool.
yes. And so very much I think like his simple, bold line work, I grew up with it. Like go into the pediatrician's office and there's an original Keith Haring, like it's
Wow.
just, it was always in my life, because
Mm-hmm.
again, super small, super rural. Um, but I would say that like Keith Haring specifically, the pop art movement definitely influenced me as an artist, still influences me today. Um, and yeah, I mean, I would like to expand into painting. I would love to expand into just making bigger work. Like
Mm-hmm.
I always say, like I want to make art for art's sake.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I love, providing functional
Mm-hmm.
artwork, I don't,
That's okay.
sorry if you can hear my dog barking.
Aw.
um, but I do want to expand. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really one of the best things about being an entrepreneur or being an artist or a creative is you don't have to put yourself in a bubble. Like you can, like, yeah, I make pottery right now and that's what
Mm-hmm.
people know me for, but that doesn't mean that I can't paint a painting,
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
It
would love
doesn't.
to see your paintings
I
with
have
your
some.
ceramics.
I just I haven't finished them.
Okay. That
Yeah,
could be
no,
such a cool show,
I
with your
know, I know. And
pieces
I have
and
it like the entire show, I'm telling you, the entire show is already in my head.
mm-hmm.
Like everything. I
Mm-hmm.
just have not I have it all planned. I've sketched it out. I just haven't actually started
Mm-hmm. Well,
to
you've been a
make
little busy,
just
right?
a little. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard, like I think that's another great thing to talk about too. It's like these are my own unique ideas. And as much as I want to work on them right now, it's just not the correct time.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll get to it, you know?
Yeah.
And somehow it's going to work out that maybe in 2 years or 1 year when I finally get to working on that, the timing will be better, you know?
Yes. I hope you're writing down your ideas.
Yeah,
You
some of
need
them.
to. You need a notebook. You need a
I know,
notebook. You
I
need to write them all
know.
down there as a capsule because it's safe and you can always go back to it and kind of pick and choose. And the ideas that you love the most will not leave you alone. So you will not forget
Absolutely.
them.
I always get so self-conscious. This is so silly. I get self-conscious of a sketchbook
Oh, me
because
too.
okay.
It's okay.
I'm like, it's not pretty enough. It's not like,
Hmm.
it's always like, oh, this isn't my top art. Like, I don't want you to look at this because I can
Hmm.
draw better, or I can
Hmm.
sketch better. It makes no sense.
There's so many reasons we have a sketchbook though. And I think like, I'm not the first person to share what my pages look like on Instagram in my
Sure.
sketchbook, although I love that. Right. But it's just chicken scratch and notes,
Yep.
basically. That's all it
Yes.
is.
It
It does,
it for me, it's like, okay, is this pencil like sharp enough? Like, because
yeah.
none of my pencils have a point anymore, I'm like, all right, yeah, this will do, whatever.
Oh,
Um, but no, I love that you share your sketches on your social media. I should maybe take a page out of your book and do the same.
oh, I don't though.
Oh, you don't? Oh, I'm
No, I
sorry.
don't.
I thought you
No.
said you did.
No, I wish I don't share
We
my
should.
sketchbook. I should though. I have a few times and people think it's intriguing and I feel like it looks like a little kid drew this because
Right.
I feel like not about me, but like when I'm painting, I feel that I'm using paint almost as I'm sculpting because you can create
Hmm.
layers and you can edit
Sure.
that way. But as far as
Absolutely.
the straight up line drawing and having it look like something, it
Yeah.
takes me layers to make something look like something, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe we should challenge each other to share one page from our sketchbook with our followers.
Oh,
That way, like, because here's the thing, life isn't perfect. Sketchbooks are not supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to be like
mm,
our messy brain, and then we work it out later, you know?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we should do that. We should both do that.
Is this a one-time share? What do you think? Are we doing
I'm
a,
starting with a one-time share. Yes, that's
okay.
all I can commit to.
Okay. Perfect. Me too.
That's all I can commit to.
I love that. I'm having so much fun chatting with you.
Oh,
And
thank
I
you.
will do that. So, all right, we know about your art, and I hope everyone does go check out your Instagram and your website and get their eyes on it. I loved hearing the meaning behind your business name, Pazful Designs, on
Yes.
your recent interview with Kat Popova. So, could you share what the name means and how it applies to your business and studio practice? I feel like this is just, I heard that and I was like, yes, we need more of this right now.
Yeah. So it is Spanglish, and it translates to peaceful designs. And very simply put, it is a nickname that I received when I was maybe 17 or 18. And it has followed me throughout life. I've always, like, with each major life step, somebody from my past has always been present. And so when I get reintroduced or what have you, my childhood nickname
Mm,
has truly followed me across the country.
mm,
And so I decided to name my business Peaceful Designs, because I do want to spread that message. I like making happy art.
mm,
I like spreading peace. I like bringing joy, honestly, through my art. And that's not to say I don't have other emotions, of course. But those are the ones that I choose to focus on, and those are the ones that I choose to share with other people.
mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
see that. And your work is so happy and joyful and
Oh,
I
thank you.
love that. And I don't you just feel like right now, it's like we can feel so beat down by what's going on in the world and watching the news. And I just feel like you can either think, well, what I do doesn't make a difference, or you can think now is the perfect time. So I love
Oh
that
yeah.
because we do need more peace, obviously. It's a
I completely agree. And there have been so many times in my art career, like, that I do kind of I get a little nihilistic, and I'm just like I have this calling inside of me to make
mm-hmm,
this art and make it be
mm-hmm,
happy. But I definitely struggle sometimes with, like, what difference does it make? You
mm-hmm,
know? But it does make a difference. It makes people happy. And
mm-hmm,
that is something special. And that is something unique that I am
mm-hmm,
bringing people, and even even creating a virtual community online,
mm-hmm,
talking to your followers that I like. Yesterday, I was talking to somebody from Australia,
mm-hmm,
you know, and it's so amazing that that opportunity presented itself because of my art,
mm-hmm,
like, right now we're living in a time where your art can be seen by so many people all across the world, and you can make these genuine connections with them even though you physically haven't met them. And to me,
mm-hmm,
that is just, like, that is what community is about. You can have
mm-hmm,
your local community, but also creating that virtual community, like, to me, that is so cool. I love it so much.
mm-hmm. It's such a It's such a gift, right? And it's such an honor.
Yes.
It's an honor to be able to put have these conversations with people that are outside of our local area and
Yeah.
to create something. I can see the love and the positive energy in your work, and it's just awesome. And I can see where if somebody ordered this mug, you just never know where people are at. You may be in a place that doesn't have sadness or darkness, but
Right.
your art can be transferred into a new space and can it's that ripple in the pond, right?
Yes.
So you're
Yes.
just sending out all these little pieces of light and happiness, and it's just it's yeah, what book am I trying to think of? It's all
It's
about
just,
combating the darkness and
yeah. For me, it's just like there is something cozy and comforting about a handmade mug,
mm-hmm,
whether it's mine or somebody else's. Like right now, I'm using somebody else's mug, and this is one of my go-tos because it's like it's hefty and
mm-hmm.
it's cozy and I love it so much, you know?
Yes.
And I think like there is you get that feeling and that emotion because art is so personal, you know? So you feel that comfort and that emotion more so in a handmade object than you would get from a mass produced piece of work from a department store, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
sure you feel that way with your paintings.
Mm-hmm. I
They're
do.
just, yeah, they're just better. Handmade is just better, okay?
Hands down. That should be the title. Okay,
I'm sure
speaking
I
of
don't have to like really, I'm sure I don't have to like nail that into all of your, all to your, into your listeners. I'm sure they understand that already.
yeah, but I think it's important because in a world where you can just buy things online, I think, because that's becoming more of the norm.
Sure.
Um, you can go to this website and order something. You can go to this website and order something. It could be made in a factory, it could be handmade, but really to have that conversation about the difference, I think that's
Yes.
so cool. And it's,
Yeah.
as an artist, I have other people's artwork and pieces that they've made, and it still is something that is good for me to be reminded of. So,
Yes.
you know,
100%.
we're all going to be shopping a little bit more this holiday season. And I think
Yeah.
it's great to highlight that and to, you're not only supporting a person that made it, but you're also going to be owning something or gifting something that
Yes.
has this special essence to it that you cannot get
Absolutely.
from a factory made piece. So that's a total
Absolutely.
aside. I think that's so awesome that you brought that up. And okay, speaking of dreams and magic and creating your work, you are in a
Yes,
very big project right now where you're currently
I
building your
am.
dream studio and
I
you're seeking
am.
support through Kickstarter. So please tell us about this campaign. Tell us all about
Yes.
it.
So, as of today, I know we're kind of in the time machine because of how
Mm-hmm.
podcasting works.
Mm-hmm.
Today is day 16.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, my campaign on Kickstarter, which is to help me not only build a proper studio, but also purchase a kiln to fire my work, complete my work. We are 35% funded, or
Okay.
I should say, I am 35% funded.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still feeling really good about that. I know that I am midway through the campaign, but my fingers are crossed that, you know, the closer to the finish line we get, the more support, the more donations will come in. And I've created a lot of rewards. So the way that Kickstarter works is you essentially back my campaign, you invest in my campaign, and in return, I give you a physical reward. And the rewards are some of them are ceramic pieces, some of them are like I have a t-shirt or an enamel pin or a canvas tote, all completely dependent on what you decide to back. So it's not just a donation that you're making.
Mm-hmm.
You do get a physical object as a thank you for donating to my campaign and for investing in my art and my art career. So yeah, that is happening. And as of right now, of course, Denver, we just got an early snow right before Halloween.
Mm-hmm. We got the snow
So,
yesterday.
framing was supposed to happen this week, and that will be happening next week, which is okay. I'm totally okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very fortunate in that I do still have a friend of mine and somebody who I used to work for, Kurt Hammerly. So I am firing my work out of his studio. Um, and it is about a 30 to 40-minute drive from my house.
Mm.
And that is one of the main reasons why I'm doing my own studio build
Mm-hmm.
is because for the last 7 years that I've been making ceramics, I've always driven far distances to
Mm-hmm.
complete the work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gotten to the point where, with the amount of work that I'm making, I'm driving up to his studio 3 times a week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about an 8 hour day.
Yeah.
Um,
And your
Give or take,
gas.
sometimes it's longer. So now I've made it work, and I did that because that was the best option for my business.
Mm-hmm.
And now when you put the numbers in front of you and you're like, wow, so I'm losing 50, 52 days a year
Mm-hmm.
just driving.
Wow.
That kind of hits you. Like, it
Yeah.
hits you in the gut and you're like, ooh, okay. Like,
Yeah. And it's gas
what,
money, it's wear and tear on your car. It's a
yes,
lot of things.
it's, it is so many things. It is so many things. Like, it's also just nerves, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
like, pottery is
Yeah.
very fragile before it
Mm-hmm.
gets fired.
Mm.
So for me, I'm packing up 40 mugs, 30 mugs at a time, depending on how much I've made. And it's all fragile. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like driving through the streets of Denver hoping that I don't hit a pothole,
Oh
you
my
know?
goodness.
I'm
I
hoping
can't
that,
imagine.
I don't get like, I'm hoping that somebody who's texting and driving doesn't hit my car, because
Mm-hmm.
I've got a month's worth of work in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
very, it's just, it's your nerves, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so again, like, I've always been very fortunate. I've, been studio techs. I've been part of co-ops. I have a lot of friends that do have kilns already. Um, and so I have been very fortunate that I've been able to make that work for as long as I have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now, where I'm at in my business, it's just not um it's not sustainable,
Yeah.
you know. That's
Yeah.
really what it comes down to. It's just not sustainable anymore, which is
Right.
amazing. It's a celebration. It
Yeah.
really is. It's stressful. It's so stressful, but
Mm-hmm.
it's also a celebration.
Yes. I can't imagine driving my paintings around in my car. I feel the same way. And paintings are a lot more durable than ceramics. So
Sure.
I can, yeah, it's like if someone rear ends me, this paid for commission in the back is gonna be in
Yeah.
1,000 pieces, right?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a lot of liability for you and even time packing, unpacking, walking the
Yes.
pieces with the crates and the boxes and
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
So
Trust me.
you
Yeah.
are gonna feel so good. So the Kickstarter campaign, you're raising about $20,000 is
I
your
am. Yes.
goal, and you're
Yes.
putting in quite a bit of your own money. So it's beyond
Yes.
that. I did want to point that out because I think that's really important to know that you are still funding this project quite a bit on your own.
Thank
Now with
you.
Kickstarter, Kickstarter's tricky because when you hit the 30 or 31-day mark, you have to raise the amount of money that you're aiming for, or else it's
Yes.
not funded, correct?
Correct. Yes. Kickstarter is all or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, right now I'm 35% funded. And if I don't make that 100% fully funded within the next 15 days, then everybody who has backed and invested, they will not be charged. So
Mm-hmm.
I will not deliver any rewards. and you will not be charged any amount of money. So it is
Mm-hmm.
an all or nothing situation here. No pressure. And thank you so much for actually pointing out like what the funding is going to and the amount, because you're absolutely correct. I'm asking for $20,000 through Kickstarter. That's what I'm trying to raise, and the projected cost is really closer to 50,000, which is a
Mm-hmm.
terrifying number
Mm-hmm.
for me personally.
Yeah.
But again, this is me investing in my art. This is me investing in my business. This is me investing in my local community, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I know without a doubt that like I am a for sure bet. Like I'm a safe bet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, that 20,000 will get me like a shell of a studio,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't get me the kiln. It doesn't get me a shelf. It doesn't get me a chair,
Mm-hmm.
which are truly all things that I need.
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, so yeah, there's a lot more that goes into it. And there are a lot of decisions that I am waiting to make in terms of like the build of the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like I have my dream studio,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have the studio that I can afford,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. Like having a budget and being realistic is an okay thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
But do I want to have like floors that don't collect dust and hold on to like tiny ceramic particles? Yeah, I would like that from the jump. I can add it in a year later, but like
Mm-hmm.
those are financial decisions that are dependent on how successful the Kickstarter is,
Right.
which is
Now
fine.
the good news is that
Yes.
when you hit your goal,
Yes.
anything you collect beyond your goal is
Yes.
yours too. So
Yes.
you could raise $50,000. You could
I
raise
could.
$100,000. It's
I
just a
could.
matter of, and I think that's such a, so I love talking to you today on the podcast because I know I have a supportive audience and I'm hoping that many of them will go onto your Kickstarter campaign and become a part of this. But I
Yes.
also know that there's so much power in sharing. So
Yes.
it could be as simple as I listened to this podcast episode today, and this artist is all about peace and creating these amazing ceramic pieces that make people feel good. And
Yes.
please consider supporting her Kickstarter campaign. So it's all about people not only contributing, but sharing. So if you
Right.
have a newsletter or if you have a Facebook page, feel free to share the link to her Kickstarter campaign because it's this kind of push and this kind of community effort that is what makes that can really add some gasoline to this fire and help propel this project to its goal and beyond, which would be even better.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
and as
Word
far
of
as
word of mouth for any artist is probably the most important thing. And I've had people go, well, I could share it on my page, but I only have like 20 followers. And my response is like, cool, I'll take them. I love them. 20
Mhm,
20 followers that don't have access to my art currently, seeing my art, that sounds awesome to me. Sounds
mhm,
great. Sign me up.
mhm.
Like I'll take it.
Yeah,
So,
support is support. It doesn't matter.
yes,
So,
absolutely.
as far as donations, like what's an average amount? What's the range? What's the
Yes,
low tier? What's the high tier? Do you have some
sure.
specifics on that?
So, with Kickstarter, somebody could go on there and donate $2,000 if they want to. They don't have to stay in the reward bracket that I've created. But the reward bracket that I've specifically created, the lowest donation is a $5 amount, and the highest donation is 1,000. So for everything in between, I would say the most popular seems to be the $150 mark.
Mm-hmm.
And that 150 mark gets you a handmade 15-ounce ceramic mug done in a glaze style that is not available on my website, that has not been available yet. Um, and so that seems to be the most popular. And then also the like $50 range gets you a canvas tote bag, which I'm obsessed with. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So those seem to be very popular. And then yeah, I just, I'm trying to create items that I haven't done before,
Mm-hmm.
so that people feel like when they make this donation, it is special and it is more unique versus getting something from my website.
Right.
Um, yeah, and the one item that I'm personally very excited about would be my planter, because I just love
Mm-hmm.
plants and they make me happy too. And I have not shown that yet because the mold is still being made. So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
but I do have a 3D model of it, and that is what I'm super excited about. And yeah.
When would the items be available? When
Oh, great. I love that you asked me that because I totally forgot to mention. All of the new items will be some of the first work that I make in the new studio. So I am going to get through the holiday season. I'm going to be continuing to fire my work at other artist studios until my studio is fully built and I have a kiln. And so everything that I am providing will be delivered by March 2024.
okay. Ooh,
Yes.
it'll be so
So
fun
that,
getting that. And I love how
yes,
artists, I know this is something I like to do, but I think artists do the best job packing things and adding
yes.
fun surprises or a little
Little
sticker or
notes.
whatever. I'm not
Yes,
saying that you
yes,
have stickers, but just
I do.
it's just the very cozy um personal experience you get from ordering from an artist. And I personally love like packing my orders and doing that kind of stuff for my customers. So
Yes.
it will be a fun thing to get in the mail. I know for
I can't
sure.
wait.
So
I
I
can't
am
wait.
after this, I'm definitely going to be backing the campaign. I hope other people do too.
Thank
And
you.
okay, so you have a lot of work to do. I
I
just want to ask
do.
you a few more things. Do you still have some
Yes,
time? Okay.
I do. Yes.
Now, when I was building my studio, which I'm in
Yes.
it right now, you can see what before the walls were painted white,
Yeah.
it looked like an 80s hunting cabin. So can you picture all the walls were brown plywood?
Oh no.
Uh-huh. And very dark and depressing. I do have a couple nice windows, but it was quite a process to, I had to prime all of the walls. I had, my husband made this faux shiplap with strips of plywood, and I painted each board individually because I didn't know how to use a sprayer. It took me a whole
Sure.
summer. And I remember, so this is me, this is like your future self talking to you right here. So get ready.
Yeah.
Um, I remember that summer finishing out the studio and feeling like I really wish I wasn't doing this. We did, we did the finish work because we wanted to save money and
Right.
maybe don't have that. Maybe you're not going to be doing the finish work. But when you're at the tail end of the project and you're really feeling like you have spent time and you just want to be creating, I
Hmm.
want you to think about visualize. So I spent hours like priming and painting these walls, hours. And I just remember zoning out and just visualizing myself in here with my easel painting. And
Hmm.
I could visualize the art on the walls and what the studio would smell like and the lighting and all this and that. So I kind of hope, when you get to that part where you're just feeling so exhausted from building, think about that
Yeah.
and picture yourself a year forward or 5 years forward. How do you envision yourself working in your studio? Can you describe it? Can you give us kind of a sense of what your dream studio is going to be like?
I mean, it sounds a little cheesy, but I mean, the first word that comes to my mind is just like peaceful. Like,
Mm,
I mean,
mm-hmm,
truly, it just having that peace and stability of my own studio.
Mm-hmm.
Having like it just feels light and bright to me, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just happiness. Like it just feels like everything that I want to be doing. It
Mm-hmm.
really does. Yeah. I mean, I'm so excited. And like I said, I am like I wish that it was all rainbows and butterflies and sparkles and I do think the truth is when you're building out your own studio, it's like nitty and gritty. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like you're like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we're gonna get through this and it's gonna be amazing, but we're gonna trek through some dirt first, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
Um, and it's all worth it, you know, without a doubt. It will definitely be worth it. And for me, the thing I'm most excited about like creating in that new space is like I want to make really big pots, like really
Ooh.
big, like you got to put your whole arm around them to hold them. I just want to make big giant pots with bright happy colors and I want to paint my little hungry hearts and
Mm-hmm.
stuff on them and have them be quirky and put some gummy bears on them like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just
Oh, awesome.
everything that I like to do that makes me happy. I just like I want to I want to make a piece of art that is big and that, you know, challenges me in new ways.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. So what you're doing, but bigger and better, more
Yes.
amazing.
Yes.
Awesome. Oh, I
Yes.
can see that. That just makes me feel more excited about your project because I can see that and
Oh,
you're just so lit up. And as far as being open, are you going to have I have my studio open once a year for an event. Do you see
yes.
yourself offering, are you going to be open certain hours? Are you going to invite the community? What do you think of that?
I like the idea. We do have a lot of like First Friday art events here in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the idea of providing something like that in a more personal, intimate manner with the people who follow my page.
Mm.
Um, One thing that I have been thinking about and manifesting is doing tiny pop up events where I go to a small local business and as like an employee appreciation day, I get to come in with clay and teach, you know, 10 employees how to make a piece of pottery.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is they want, you know, maybe it's a mug they want to make, maybe they want to make a planter or something to put all their paintbrushes in or their pencils in, you know, what have
Mm-hmm.
you. But like that's where I see myself headed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, who knows if that's where we'll go, but that's that's where I see it. And that's what I would love to do is like showing people how therapeutic art can be and
Mm-hmm.
also showing people that you don't need to necessarily identify as an artist to make art. Anybody
Yes.
can make art. We all have emotions, we all have feelings. Um, and I think that art is such a great way to kind of like, you know, put it in the pot. That's kind of what I
Mm-hmm.
like to say. Like put your feelings, put your emotions into the painting, into the pottery. Um, and yeah, I would just like to bring that to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something that I can do right now
Mm-hmm.
when I am firing my own work out of somebody else's business, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So like that's where I would like to go. That's where I would like to expand, having these like very intimate sessions of
Mm-hmm.
pottery making. So,
Mm. I
yeah,
feel
and
like
all of that will
people
happen.
it is going to happen. I was going to say, I feel like people in Denver especially need to hear about your campaign because
Yes.
this is a direct benefit in your geographical area. So
Yeah.
if you know someone in the Denver area, you need to share.
Seriously.
Someone
Yeah,
needs
share it
to
with your
share
Denver
this.
people.
Yes, especially Denver, because Denver, I believe they need more of this. And why
Everybody does.
why clay for you?
You know, there's something about that satisfaction of making a physical object with your hand and seeing it happen in real time.
Mm-hmm.
So it might not be finished, but you see that mug or you see that planter or you see that vase, and in your brain you can see the finished product.
Mm-hmm.
And like you're taking it from dirt, like clay is
Mm-hmm.
mud, and you're shaping mud with your hands and creating something beautiful. I mean, how cool is that, you know?
So cool. It's kind of like your studio, starting
Yeah.
with the dirt.
Truly. Right
You're
now
creating a
it's just a
vessel.
big concrete slab. Yeah.
Yeah. Whoa, this is getting deep, guys.
It really is.
Oh, I love it. Um, name, okay, I'm very envious of this, but I saw somewhere that you created some art for, was it the Denver Broncos?
I did. Yes. Yeah,
That's super cool.
they found my information through another Denver business, and they went on my website, and I just want to give a shout out to my website is so simple. So for any artist or entrepreneur who's listening, like just start a website.
Mm-hmm.
That's like step one. Because if my website can still be solid enough uh, for the Denver Broncos to see my art and like it and want it, then I guarantee anybody else can do it, because it is, yeah. Like I do not brag about my technical skills. They're lacking. Um, but yeah, so if my personal website, or I shouldn't say personal, if my ceramic website
Yeah.
is good enough for the Denver Broncos, I guarantee that your website is good enough for anybody else who wants to buy your art. Like
Oh, that's
truly.
so good. Just get the website
Like
out there. It's so true. It's 100% true.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, yeah, like long term I would love to pay somebody to like design it and make it look neater and more coherent. But I'm not there yet, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Got to build the studio. I know we're
Yes.
always building stuff, right?
Oh my goodness. It
What did
never
you
ends.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's so valuable because it's all about getting past the perfectionism and just doing the
Yes.
thing. And
Yes.
it is so powerful when, as a creative, when you have a website where someone can click on your items and purchase, or even just have an idea of what you're up to. That's such a major launching point for many creatives
Yes.
and a real barrier. So once you get
Yes.
beyond that, a lot of things can happen. What did you create for the Denver Broncos exactly?
I made vases and planters and diffuser. They're a smaller vase, but essentially like a diffuser kit and candles. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. And the cool part about that is through them uh, contracting me to make my art, I was able to introduce them to um, uh, the girl who I work with. I'm going to give her a plug because she's amazing. Her name is Hannah, and her candle company is Right Wood Candle Co.
Okay.
She's
We
also
need a
based out
link
of
to that.
Denver. Yes, yeah. And so the candles and the diffusers that you can find on my website, her and I worked together to create those custom scents that you can only get through me. So those are my
Mm.
scents that Hannah created with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, just again, bringing people up to the top. Art is not a zero sum game. There's plenty of room for all of us. So through through contracting me, I was able to suggest, plant shops for them to look at. They selected one that they went with. They, supported my friend Hannah's business. They were using another local flower shop. So just from that one project, four other local businesses were then also supported and funded through that one project.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
pretty incredible. It's super incredible. Yeah, working with the Broncos was truly one of the highlights so far of my career, just because I've always like, as a small artist, I want to be more engaged with my community, and it
Mm-hmm.
can be very difficult when you don't feel like you have the means to do everything that you want. You don't have the
Mm-hmm.
means to give back completely in the way that you want. And
Mm-hmm.
so being able to partner with this bigger organization, I mean, I have full body chills just being able to say that it wasn't just my business that benefited from the project.
Mm-hmm.
Like that to me is what it's all about.
Yes.
And I wouldn't have necessarily been able to do that on my own without them,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. Amazing. So
Yeah.
inspiring. Okay. All right. What are the best ways to, aside from directly sponsoring your project, we talked about sharing the
Yes.
campaign.
Yes.
How can we support you? List your website and your socials for us to, the links
Uh,
will be in the show notes, but
yes. Okay. So on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads, you can find me at Pazful Designs. So that's all one word, Pazful Designs. Um, my website is pazfuldesigns.com. Um, and what else? Oh, and then on my Kickstarter, you can look up on Kickstarter. The link is in my bio, on all of my social media accounts right now. But like, share, talk to me, send me a message, send me an email. I will respond. Just engage, and yeah, tell your aunt, tell your grandma about my art. There's everybody everybody should know about
that's
it.
right. I love that. I love your energy and your excitement. And do we have time for the rapid round of questions?
Yes, we have time, but my I will say my iPad is at 4%. So
Okay.
these are going to be the best
Super.
best round of rapid questions ever.
Yes. Okay. Top of mind. What is your favorite color?
Ooh, right now it's pink, but can I just say rainbow? Like
Yeah, absolutely. What shade of pink is your favorite?
my hair color, fuchsia.
Okay. Fuchsia. Yes. Oh, I love
Yes.
fuchsia. What is your work beverage of choice when you're in your studio?
Anything caffeinated. I
Okay.
love caffeine. Hot drink, cold drink, just have some caffeine in it.
Perfect. Do you have a book or movie mention? Doesn't have to be anything like deep, but top of mind.
Oh man. Okay, the book that really changed like my way of thinking is called E Squared by Pamela Grout.
Okay. Pamela
Grout.
Brown. Okay, I'll
Yes.
find it.
E Squared. Yeah.
All right. Where do you get your ideas or inspiration? For me, I'm driving in my car, and that's when I get all of my ideas. What about you?
I would say I have like the worst sleep schedule ever, but it does like I just embrace it because it seems like when I am the most um sleep deprived, it's when the ideas actually click and come to life. So
Okay.
sleep deprivation creates a lot of creativity for me.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
man. Okay. That's very interesting. Is there something you wish you were good at, but you're not? For me, I wish I could play volleyball, but I can't. Anything doesn't have
Oh,
to be.
I'm really not good at cooking,
Okay.
but at this point in my life, I think I've accepted it. Um yeah, I'm not sure. I would like to be better at keeping plants alive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
I know. Don't you just feel bad almost? I feel bad when I bring plants home. It's like, I'm so
Uh,
sorry.
yeah, it's for like half of them, it's just a slow death. And I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Aw. I know. I do have some fake plants now just because that's anyway.
I think I need to start that journey.
Okay, last question. Do you have a creative challenge for listeners today?
Ooh, Yeah, I get stuck in this rut, so I'm going to encourage you to not get stuck in this rut. Make a piece of art for fun. Make
Mm,
a piece of art that you're not putting a dollar amount on. Just be creative, do it for fun, and see what happens. But don't make it for the purpose of selling it.
mm, that's
Yeah,
really
that's my
good.
challenge. And
Oh,
I'm going to try and do that challenge as well.
I need to do that. I'm going to
Right?
do that. And I'm going to share my sketchbook page.
Yes, me too. Me
I
too.
think as a
I'll tag
professional
you.
artist, I feel like everything I do is like, okay, I have this list in my queue. I have to make these
Mm-hmm.
certain paintings for this show. And
Yep.
then all work and no
And here's
play.
the thing, so much inspiration can actually come from you playing around and
Hmm.
not making something for financial sake, just making it for art's sake.
Hmm. I love that.
Yeah.
You could always sell it if you really want to, not
No.
required, but
Well, yeah.
no. She says no.
Don't go
Oh.
into it with that mindset, Sarah.
Oh, anyway, I think it's just from being a professional, like just selling
I
your art for
know.
so many years. You just feel like,
It's so
oh,
hard. It's so hard.
it is. But
Yeah, I'm
it's
right
good
there
to
with
hold on
you.
to stuff too. So
Yeah,
I
but
love that.
also the second challenge, I'm really challenging a lot of people. I want to challenge everybody to say nice things about themselves to themselves.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's the
ooh,
second
that's good.
challenge because that's a constant struggle for me, and I think that comes with perfectionism and
Hmm.
wanting to make the best thing ever. But like, speak kindly to yourself. Speak nice words to you.
Mm, that's so good. You're such a good
Yeah.
soul. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
I'm
thank
so
you for
excited for
having
you.
me.
And I know my listeners are going to love it and they're very supportive. So I'm putting all of my faith in my community here to
Woohoo!
help
Me too.
help Em with her project and help her get her dream studio funded. It truly, truly, truly takes a village. And
It does.
I know for me, here's my encouragement for you. It's a process. It's like having a baby when you build a studio.
Yes.
It's like a long pregnancy and then eventually the baby
Yeah.
is born. And
Yeah.
I just hope you find time for your self-care and for happiness for you and just, really take a lot of pictures and also share. I love this. So when I saw a little video footage of someone pouring concrete for your studio, and that
Yeah.
made me super excited. So I want to see more footage of your studio in the process being built. Could be just one 2x4 being, put up that day.
Yeah.
I just feel like that just really, I wish I would have documented that more of building of my space because I feel like
Yeah.
it's just such a special time. So you will get there. It's
I
like you're on a
will.
ride and the ride will end and then you'll be in your studio and it's going to be amazing. So
I can't wait. I can't
so
wait.
wonderful getting to know you. Thank you again so much for being here. And thank you everyone for listening to today's episode. I'll see you next week on another episode of I Like Art podcast. So please share, please help support this wonderful Kickstarter campaign. I love you guys all so much. And thank you so much again for being here today. You're
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks again so much. Goodbye.
Bye.